What is up, everybody? It is Jeffrey Lyles. You were rocking with Lyles Movie Files. Joining me today, one and only little brother. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Outstanding. Jay King, how's everything with you?
Everything is love, man. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Good, good.
Wonderful.
Before we get started, quick serious note. Um, heart, our we are definitely thinking about all of our Asian American and Asian community listeners out there for this craziness that won't ever end seemingly, and we're definitely standing with you through this crazy time. All right, so now let's
Absolutely.
get on with this episode. Jace, our ride with the Bachelor and Matt James experience is over. Are you heavily traumatized? Were you shocked? And did you appreciate the thickness of one Matt Harden James beard?
There's a lot to unpack, just like Matt's beard on that one. Well, the ride was interesting. Sadly, the conclusion was almost what you'd expect in the first Black Bachelor during um, way too much social justice. I mean, rightfully so, but that was he did not he was put in a very unenviable position, and then to find out at the end of all that, hey, did you know your fiance was at an antebellum ball? But before the war, and you out of four women, you pick the one Caucasian woman, and this is the one you get. You're like, oh,
No!
I
Literally
mean,
insert the Homer Simpson gif on repeat. Or Sideshow Bob where he's just stepping on rakes.
oh no, that's the sideshow Bob definitely on that one. It's like just I mean, it's like everybody else is like, Matt, did you have a conversation? Kind of, hey, you do know I'm a black man, and if you're with me, you're gonna have to deal with everything you see on TV. You're gonna have to deal with that, and that's gonna be kind of your life too now. And if we have kids, that's gonna be their lives. Did you think to have that conversation, or just kind of gloss over that one?
I had several favorite parts about this after the final rose. My first was when he said, and then it dawned on me that Rachel may not know what it's like to be a black man in America. And I was like, dude, you know who would have known what it's like to be a black person in America? All of the black women that you sent home.
The ones you just couldn't see yourself with because you just weren't feeling. And then and again, it was like, hey, Matt, do you want to tell Michelle why you're not with her? No, I really don't.
Nah, he was like, I don't want any parts of that. I'm not trying to talk to an angry black woman right now. I don't need that in my life.
But hey, I need you to understand what it's like being a black man.
You
Good
know,
job there, Matt.
I was like, man, this is the sound of the last bit of sympathy pissing away from you right now.
Well, again, what I think it was when we were all saying, like, he's got a 1 out of 4 chance not to choose a typical winner of the show. We know who's going to be the winner, though. It was just, oh, come on.
Insert another Homer Simpson. I like those odds.
It was so just like, Matt, we're not saying you got to choose for love, man. Hey, that's in the realism of the world, you should choose whoever you want. And if you were vibing with her, at least I had the guts to tell, hey, I actually am really feeling Rachel more. He didn't have to really, I mean, he could have said that to everyone in the Final Four. He's send it home, like, hey, I'm really feeling somebody it's the only girl I said, I love you to versus everyone else when they said, hey, I love you. I think I'm falling in love with you. You keep that same energy. I'm sending you home tomorrow.
Thank you. Please allow me to kiss you so as to distract you from you not
Oh, man,
recognizing
he
that
was
I
doing
did
like
not say
Jedi mind tricks with that. He was like, it's like, I think I love you. Haha, good. Whoo.
yeah.
It was like, it was so funny. Like when I finally noticed it, I'm like, every time they're saying that, he's like, thanks for really sharing that. And then he's
Yeah.
like, wait, he's not saying anything nice to these girls. He's just making out with them like, I don't want to talk anymore.
Right. Don't talk. Don't talk. Just listen.
Go ahead, say Devontae. It's like, but
It was hilarious.
it was
And
fun.
then what? Oh, and then his mother just totally dragging up all his childhood trauma. By the way, if you love someone, they're going to leave you, son. Like Matt needs some serious couch time so he can just put all this on the side and be like, listen, my daddy left my mom, and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with me.
I would have thought he would have got that out before the show. But then he tries to drag his father in there and like, hey, I'm going to have my dad talk and say he was a horrible father. I'm not apologizing for that. What? Yeah. I got you on TV to apologize.
His dad was like, thank you. Let's talk it out.
It's like, it was very hilarious. It's like, are you trying to like, hey, I don't want you to apologize for anything. I'm just trying to explain to you what happened to our relationship. It was over. We grew in different spaces. But that's your fault, Dad. And I blame you for everything I had.
Literally every relationship that I've tried to get into since then. I don't want any part of that.
But you need to. No, you could have, You know my phone number well enough to call me for The Bachelor and trying to have this heart-to-heart on camera that you could have talked to me when you were 15. So
wow, yeah. That was very therapeutic, and it was trash with one conversation with his mother.
Oh no! It was more fun when he decided to always bring it up with all the girls after he had that conversation, even if it made no sense in the conversation. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I had a great, my day was good. Did I mention I talked to my dad? Yeah, that was really good. I know you said you love me, but don't ignore that. We're on this now. We're on me now.
We're past that.
Yeah. But now, you didn't mention, did you love on the After the Rose where Matt really couldn't be bothered to actually talk? It was just blubbering.
My favorite part on that was when, oh boy, Emmanuel Echo, who sounded like a robot when he talked in the show. I assumed he was just trying to be sympathetic because he went in on both Matt and Rachel. I was like, oh, there you go. Welcome to the show. I will need to make sure that the Bachelor budget includes a larger suit for him next time. It looked like he was about to. Rah!
He was trying to Hulk out of that thing.
He really was.
It's a whole. Hey, it's hard finding a good tailor in COVID. So he was like, I got what I got. I put on some COVID weight. I've been hitting the gym. It is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, he was like, do you guys want to have a final embrace? And Matt was like, I can't see past my hands.
No, Matt was having no parts of a hug. It was like, Matt, I didn't think, it's like, what else did she say during that conversation that you couldn't even bother having a hug? Like, peace out, enjoy your journey. You need to really work on that, but I'm not here for it. He was like, nah, I just think you need to work on yourself.
He was like, I don't have energy to wipe away your tears. That's like the opposite of a wedding vow.
Yeah. Well, again, he's like, he was so honest with her. I don't think, everybody wants to see, the first Black Bachelor, in this show's history in the show with an engagement. There's probably something else they're expecting from me too, but we know that ain't gonna happen.
We knew that wasn't gonna happen when he said in the very first episode, I have a lot of responsibility and I don't want to have to do something just because I'm the first Black Bachelor. Hold on, I'll translate. I don't want to have to pick a black woman, okay?
Matt, do you also know as a first Black Bachelor, you probably should get engaged to set a trend? Nah, I ain't feeling that. So what are you doing on this show? I want to make out with a lot of women.
Yeah, I'm processing my trauma with my dad. All right, so we also watched some other things. First off, The Walking Dead. Let's just break it down through the week. The J. King. This was an interesting episode Sunday. I liked it. I feel like I really would have liked it had they ended it like 2 minutes early.
Honestly, Jeff, I say this about it. This is one of those episodes. This was an episode that could have saved this show some seasons earlier, right?
It was really strong, right? Like,
it was like, really good. And shout out to Robert Patrick, man, and the writers of that episode. It started slow because one thing I hate are these dramatic episodes of The Walking Dead that go nowhere. Like we don't get anything out of it other than this was progressing a storyline of two characters that we don't give a shit about. I hate those episodes of that show. But this wasn't that. This was two characters that we've kind of, especially with Gabriel, we've grown to invest in. I've loved his transformation throughout this, especially the last few seasons. And Aaron's character has always been solid from day one since his first introduction.
I was say,
I'm sorry.
don't they do the same thing kind of with Strawn and Fear the Walking Dead too? Like he's been in a relationship, but he is
Strand.
Strand. Yeah, he's a person, and his sexuality is part of him, but it's not somehow the defining feature, which a lot of shows and TV makes instead of making like, hey, these are if you met this person in real life, this is what you meet. It wouldn't be just the sexuality. It's I'm a person, and my name's Anakin.
Right.
Wow. That was a nice dig. That was well timed and everything.
That was
That
wow.
was fucking
Beautiful.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Chef kisses
Chef
from
kiss
all of
to you, bro. Yes.
Wow.
Well done. Well done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but Jovon, my thing with this episode was I kind of like that whole ambiguous nature of, hey, is Gabriel kind of losing it without the this dude was crazy. They didn't need to kill him. And I think I would have preferred the ending to just be like, yeah, I don't know about Gabriel right now.
Jeff, I think it was really good to see that ending where we saw the twin because it was like Hitchcock. It was like either Hitchcock or Twilight Zone where, oh my God, I didn't expect to see that, and I appreciated that. But you touched on it. Gabriel's psyche during this time, I don't think so much that Gabriel's losing it. I think he's finally assimilating to the world that he's in. He's not sheltered anymore. Because if you remember his art from the early days of his character, he was afraid to be in this world. He was really afraid to be in that world. And he was shook. The horrors of that world got to him. It scared him. Over time, he's had to embrace the gray areas of the world that he's in. And we got to see that in this episode. And I'm going to tell you something. The way he finessed Maze, the character of Robert Patrick, yeah. Hey, that was brilliant. He finessed him, man. He yo-yo. And when he lulled him in and he, got him to relax and let down his guard and get emotional with him, I thought, oh man, they just made a friend, and then BAM!
Dude, I didn't see it coming at all.
I didn't see it coming at all. But you know who really sold it for me was Aaron, because Aaron didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And he was like, what you do that for? And then Gabriel's explanation, he killed his brother. We can't take him back with us.
It made sense. Yeah.
It made sense. That's the thing right there. My wife and I were watching that, and I was like, man, that's something Rick would have did.
Yeah.
That's what Rick would have did.
He
took him right out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing. I think the strength of this season will rely 100% on how little we see Carol and Daryl. If we focus on other characters, I'm all in. Like the episode with Maggie, I was into it. Daryl was there, but it wasn't like he was the focal point. But for the most part, when we've seen them without those two in the spotlight, because we know they're going to survive, it's been really good.
But don't you want to see the search for Daryl's lost love? I mean, which will make the basis of the next spinoff?
Actually, of course. Hey, Jace, I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that storyline getting tied up or them exploring that one. One I want to see definitely is Maggie and Negan. What happens there? At some point, Negan's going to have to come face to face with her and her son.
Yeah.
That's got to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that Angela King is going to shortchange us on that. There has been something that she set up. Yeah, he would have. There's nothing that she set up that she hadn't paid off, and in I want to say 99% of the time paid off well. So we'll see where this goes. All right, Jace, it's that time. Flash wrapped up its 6th season, 3 episodes into season 7. And for the first time that I've been watching The Flash, I felt like maybe it's time for us to find a brake pad, push them real hard, and think if we need a season 8. You didn't care as much as I did about hey, let's throw Ralph in and let's melt his face. And let's give him a Daft Punk helmet just to keep him in there. I thought it was lame. I felt like they were on the run. We'd already effectively written them off, only to be like, hey, there's a chance that he'll come back as a different actor. I don't know why they didn't do that in this episode.
Uh, I thought. I mean, I thought today would have been after melting his face for some reason. Ralph can't get back to that old face. I mean, he had to work very hard after DeVoe to get back to that one. It's like for some reason the muscles just aren't working. So this is new Ralph. Yeah. And you know what? Put some science. Have Caitlin do some sciencey reason on why it makes sense, and we'll just say, you know what? Sure, we knew it was coming. All right, we're okay with that. But it also it doesn't quietly. It moves two characters off the team who don't need to be there. So it's actually a good thing instead of like, hey, why is Ralph still here? And why is Chester here? Why is
Allegra?
Why is those girls friend here? Why is Iris even here? Jeez, and we still got Cecile with her powers kicking around, and she's probably gonna be on the show. In Team Flash Bunker too much too. So
hey, listen, I'm not gonna have you say any words about Cecile.
Hey, that's the only black romance we actually got in CW. So
exactly,
we're gonna hold it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say this. I gave them a pass on these 3 episodes because they are the finale of last season. It's like whatever they wanted to do did not get wrapped up. Old Ralph actor, instead, 10 years ago, but still stupid stuff. That they made a choice to get rid of him. They had to work through that.
I heard something that was kind of interesting. Apparently, the research staff on The Flash are the same people that do background checks on The Bachelor.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense to me.
Checks, yeah.
No, it's like, hey, quick Google search of these people. Or, I'm sorry, it's usually that messy thing called Twitter. That you have that before you break out a role. Delete that ish, and then start a new one.
I had no social media presence until.
Nah, that was a joke account my friend was doing. You can't prove nothing.
I had nothing to do with that.
And just keep it moving. Don't worry about getting that old account verified and all that mess. Like, no, just go to the next one. And just say, hey, yeah, you can't prove it. Doesn't even have my IP address. We're moving on.
Good call. Right, moving on. Superman and Lois. This show feels like night and day from The Flash. Like, it's a totally different superhero TV universe. It feels like something they could make a movie out of. And the quality is strong. Fight scenes are showing Superman use his powers in different and unique ways. Like when he took old boy and froze him and then started beating him down. I was like, yo, that's something we haven't even seen in a movie or a cartoon. That was really good. I love Tyler Hoechlin, Elizabeth Tollett. They are perfectly cast in those roles. Like when she went off as Lois, chewing out Morgan Edge and General Lane, I was like, yes, that is Lois Lane. And that was the vibe I had never gotten from my girl Amy Adams in the Snyderverse. I wish we could just move her into the Snyderverse, but it's too confusing for them. But man, she's so good. Tyler Hoechlin just gets the whole Superman Clark Kent dynamic down. I don't want to be like, oh, he's better than everybody except Christopher Reeve, but I think his take is really, really good in a superhero TV show featuring Superman and Lois. What do you think?
I'll go into your last point. I think they actually made him Tyler a well-rounded Superman character. They made his Clark Kent not useless. They made he's not a reporter, but it's like he's learning to grow him into his new role as a kind of much more present father who's going to be good at that time. But again, it's like somebody being a newborn, having a newborn. It's like sometimes you're not going to get everything right, and they do a good balancing act of that. And let's say it's like, as I commented to you, the scene where him and Lois are getting into Sam Lang's, that was like a tag team. Like, oh, that was, y'all look like y'all been doing this for years. I think that's I mean, I think they were on some other show together, but it's like the lines they write for these guys is actually like, oh, okay, you guys actually look like a much more fleshed out show than any of the CW stuff. I mean, like, and like they go very much like Black Lightning. I think, like they actually look like they got the family dynamics down perfect. And like even this one, when it's like, oh, Superman is fighting this non-powered bad guy, but it's like they came up with something for him to do that it's like, hey, Superman has to handle this. He has to use his power, a power we hadn't seen in the first 4 episodes. I mean, it looked. I mean, the special effects on it looked really good. Like when he was getting shot and his ear was like his face was lighting up. It's like even just small stuff was like, okay, y'all have. I mean, again, you guys look like you got it. I joke with my, can y'all keep this energy for 5 seasons? Because that's what sucks on these CW shows. It's like they come out the gate really good or really bad and need some work, or season 2 is like really good, and then that season 3 is like, well, okay, we'll give them a mulligan on this one. And I think I'm probably giving Flash a mulligan on this season. But it's like, okay, you guys got rid of all the good speeds for villains, and you got rid of the rogues. So now, what do you do with Flash to make it good and use all these characters you got on payroll that you really don't need?
Bring in a new Wells. Chief, what's up, man? I know you've been watching Superman and Lois. We have long complained about a lack of good Superman in live action. What do you think of the show so far?
It's been pretty decent. I've kind of enjoyed them moving back to Smallville, the dynamic with the kids. Lois still getting in trouble. I like the little call button she has for him. She was like, he's like, that's not gonna hurt me. She was like, click up. So yeah, that part was pretty good. So yeah, it's been a decent show so far. I didn't see this week's episode, but I'm gonna go probably watch it tomorrow. But last week's episode was really good, so I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I haven't seen The Flash or Batgirl or none of them, and this is the only superhero show I've watched so far this season. I haven't even seen Black Lightning, although I have been DVRing it. I just haven't gotten around to it, but this Superman thing is pretty damn good so far.
I think you're perfectly fine skipping Batwoman, aka The Search for Kate Kane, and I think you can pretty much resume Flash starting with this coming weeks, because basically it's the start of season 7, and they reset to hopefully do something better than the admittedly complicated finale of last year. They had a lot of stuff to work around, so like Jace, I'm giving them a pass. For me, the real season starts next week, and where they go from that point will determine a lot.
Yeah. Have they gotten Iris out the mirror?
Yeah, she's out the mirror now. Yep.
Okay. Well, I've got to watch for that.
That's where I left it too. That's where I left it too. I was like, she in this mirror. I'm so tired of this show. And then COVID. I'm like, all right. Yeah, let's give him mulligan on that.
Yeah, Gunner. It felt like it was too long because we've basically been through a pandemic since that storyline started. And
right, she been in the mirror for a whole damn year, basically.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah.
Yeah. It just felt so long. And it wasn't it was okay. I think if they had gotten it out in a normal span of time, it would have been fine. We would have moved on. But it was just like, we waited for this? Wow, okay.
I don't know, man. They had the Black Lightning people in a cave for like 3 or 4 episodes, so she might have been in the mirror for a minute.
I'm still on Black Lightning season 3 because of that. I'm so bored with Jefferson
I'm very bored.
in prison. And I'm like, yo, I don't watch the show called Black Lightning to watch Black Lightning in prison.
Okay. Again,
I know Black saying it's going to
be Black Lightning picks up, and Chief, just to give you a warning, this season has actually been really good.
It does pick up. Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually sad that this is the final season of Black Lightning, because if looking at all the CW superhero shows, it's Superman and Lois, and then Black Lightning, and then Flash, and yeah, whatever else you got.
Well, Jace, just because we can't have good things, there's a COVID outbreak on Superman and Lois. So the show is going to go on a bit of a hiatus.
Oh, but what are we getting instead?
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow?
Last week, I was really excited because I was like, we finally cured COVID. It's done. And now Superman and Lois is on hiatus because of COVID. And Supergirl's final season is going to start in a few more weeks.
Yay!
So we're gonna get the first 7 episodes will be great, and then the other 25 will be terrible.
I don't think so. I think honestly, a little bit of a break isn't a bad thing for Superman and Lois because it's been really good, and I think that when it comes back, it will still be good. And just based off of the timing, it's probably better for it to fade out while it's still got people excited. While the Falcon and Winter Soldier does this thing on Disney Plus,
good plan.
Justice League shows up, maybe Black Widow makes it to theaters, maybe not. And I think when it comes back, it'll be like, oh, cool, a good CW show that we're looking forward to watching because we already know how good it was.
Right.
So
I was talking about Supergirl being the first 7 episodes sucking or being great, and then the rest of them sucked. I was talking about that.
Gunner, it could be any 7. It's not the first 7. It's not the last 7. It's just 7.
Somewhere there's 7 great episodes, and the 24 episodes that they give us great.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you think they'll do out of the last season? They'll literally be like, all right, we will make the best version of this show we've ever made to have Kara go out on a high note and explain why she's not around after this season.
Hey, I think if they just do what they did with Arrow, it'll be wait. That's a really
Jeff, that was trash.
No. That's a bad example.
No. I mean, hey, if we were going to use it to be a backdoor pilot to Superman and Lois, it would have actually made sense. But we screwed that up, and we just actually made a full-fleshed out Superman show that's just been 20 times better than anything we've seen on that whole show.
Yeah, I think Supergirl's really going to look bad in comparison to Superman and Lois, just from the effects.
Unless they do something. They got to step it up.
They're not going to. They've
I don't know, man.
On a measure of consistency and mediocrity that I don't think they're going to overcome. So
I have a theory on why Superman is really good.
Well, I'd love
besides, great writing and stuff, because they're following the comic book. Every other Superman iteration has followed a movie, Christopher Reeve's movie, or a TV show, or even a cartoon. It feels like even the writing here and the banter between Lois and Clark and all that. Hell, Lois and Clark the show called Lois and Clark didn't even have the greatest banter. And probably then it did, but when you look back at it, you're like, I don't know. It's not like the comics, And this one, you really can't see that. These guys are actually skipping the Christopher Reeves template. They're skipping, even the some of the cartoons in the 80s and 90s. They're just saying, no, we're going straight for the comics. We're not going for any interpretations of Superman right now, other than what we got here. And then we'll throw in this father role. That's all they need. That's all they did. That's all they need to do. And that's what I think they're doing well. Compared to pretty much all the CW shows except Flash and the first season of Black Lightning.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing it play out. I'm still not loving the teen drama, but that's just the consequence of being on the CW. I think even though I don't love the teen drama, they're doing a pretty decent job. I don't know how long I can feel that way about it, but so far it's I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm kind of indifferent on it, but it isn't making me fast forward through the teen scenes yet.
Yeah, it's not annoying, but it's not something I want to grasp onto as this is why I'm watching the show. It's like Dawson's Creek. It's exactly like Dawson's Creek, where I'm like, there it is, but it's not a terrible show, but I just can't get into it. Mm-hmm. Luckily, Superman has a Superman, and we actually have Superman and Lois.
I think the real problem for me is that Superman and Lois' scenes are so good. And they're so well done that I'm like, I just want to focus on them. Can we get more of them? Because it's like Black Lightning, where they're just jumping ahead to, hey, they're teenagers are really cool too. It's like, but I'd rather just focus on the people you named the show after.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, um, Warner Brothers screwed me, so I was not able to watch the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, like everybody else. I can't
Sorry.
believe it. I'm so
Dang.
disappointed. Anyway, I'll
Like
get over it. I'll keep
steerage,
on living
man.
my
I'm
life.
sorry.
It's okay. I'll manage. I told them to stay tuned for my review. However, the early buzz is Warner Brothers is out of their mind stupid if they don't find a way to keep this going. And maybe Zack Snyder should have control over all of his movies that he edits in the future.
Okay.
And hey, we need more of this.
Well, and I will give them a slight. I understand Warner Brothers' position because at one point they said that he was going to end up killing some of the heroes. It's like, I know that might seem like a great idea, but you don't need to get in the point of killing off heroes. It's like, we just make it so we don't have them. You already killed off Superman 2 movies in, so it's like we don't need to have you kill off, say, Batman in the 3rd movie, and we can't use it. We act like we can't find another Batman if we're going to create this universe, since we've already killed off Robin, so there's no Nightwing we can bring in to replace him. So it's like, if you're already telling us you're taking this to a really dark place, we probably don't want it, because we want to be able to make 10 years of movies, making $1 billion movies. Of course, they make 10 years of movies and only have 5 movies to show for them, but different story. So.
I think Zach needs somebody in the early process of the plot to go, okay, let's not do that. I think when he actually makes the movie, it looks cool. He really knows how to create iconic imagery of the characters where it looks like great posters and it's like, oh man, this embodies Superman or this captures Wonder Woman and this is what Batman and Aquaman, etc., would look like. Another thing that I'm seeing is that the arc with Cyborg really good. Who knew? Maybe oh boy, Ray Fisher had a reason to be upset about the Josh Whedon cut. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
So, fellas, I would like to ask if you can carve out 4 hours of time between now and next week so we can break this down and see what we think about the Snyder Cut and how much Warner Brothers needs to go forward with this Snyder verse. Because I think
I shall do so.
Man, you want us to do that between the NCAA tournament, Winter Soldier? You're asking a lot of us, man.
I do. And see, you're not doing it the Jet way. You said Winter Soldier. Please put the Falcon at the beginning of that title, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, speaking of, since you did say that, and since Disney does love me, I did see the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And oh my gosh, yo, I know we were excited. We were pleasantly surprised about WandaVision. I don't know if we're going to be pleasantly surprised with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it's going to meet our expectations and in a lot of cases exceed them.
Great.
I mean, it's what you would expect from a Marvel show featuring 2 characters at this point. Great character development with people who we've seen kind of on the periphery, who we never really got to know that in depth. So they have plenty of room to flesh them out further. And Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan have a really good handle on their characters. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's just like, it's fun watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe on the TV, knowing I'll get weekly installments of this high level of quality. Where are you guys on your level of anticipation for the Falcon and Winter Soldier? Chief.
My fault. I had to do. You said the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I've always liked, the shit. They did a whole movie with the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, so you got a good glimpse at him throughout that movie. And then the Falcon, of course, he was in everything, all the Avengers joints. So, and I like Anthony Mackie as an actor anyway. So I think it's gonna be funny, actually. I got a feeling that during this thing I'm gonna do a lot of laughing. Um, so it's pretty. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think it's gonna be a pretty good show, pretty dynamic, lots of action, and I think they're definitely going to also introduce other characters and situations that we haven't seen. I have a feeling like people will be coming in there that we haven't haven't seen in this Marvel universe yet. So and to maybe introduce the new set of Marvel heroes coming along. Um, so they might be using this as a springboard to a whole new set of movies. You know what I mean? Now that
Mm-hmm.
the original Avengers people have retired. You know, Captain America, Iron Man's dead, Hulk's arms messed up. Uh, you
Black
know,
Widow's dead.
yeah. So all these things are going on right now, and I think that maybe this is a prequel to redoing the Marvel universe all over again.
Yeah.
Wow. DC kind of just spins its wheels in the mud. So
Keep hitting the brake. I'm going to back out now. Okay, right. Gunner, Malcolm Spellman is the showrunner for The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he is a black man. And it's very refreshing listening to Falcon's dialogue and knowing, yep, yep. He actually sounds like he is a black dude that you have a regular conversation with and with concerns and issues that matter to a black dude. What are your thoughts on the show?
Oh, I'm ready for it. It looked like they were definitely like giving Mackey's character Falcon here in the MCU the treatment that Marvel gave Falcon alone for a long time. Remember, he was just a sidekick for a minute, right? A while, and then they kind of gave him his full blown thing even before the Captain America handoff, right? So I feel like I'm gonna see that, and just because I mean, even the first scene of like the first and second trailer, like, what's your plan? I ain't got no plan. Peace. Like, it looks like he's gonna form his own self, and whether that's like, I don't know if we're gonna see the arc of, oh, I gotta find myself. Let me go find Kane again and find myself. As the Batgirl, Batwoman, whatever I am. I feel like we're gonna get a real like, hey, I'm already here. I've been this dude. I just need to figure out how I'm supposed to be myself, this dude, and Captain America. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're gonna get a better arc on that kind of take of replacing, of trying to like replace another character in a way, or however that's supposed to be. So I'm excited about Mackey's character.
Yeah, I think you'll be very pleased then. Jay King, what are you thinking about it?
Oh, sorry.
I'm looking forward, man. The trailers look good. And like that little bit of inside information about, the writing for Anthony Mackie's character, the Falcon. I'm always skeptical about the dialogue for a brother. You know what I mean? 'Cause, like you said, they get us wrong so many times, man. They give us the bad haircut. They make us say things and talk in a manner not to say we're all, uniform, but sometimes we really get done greasy in regards to how we're portrayed. And that's the one thing I've liked about this character is that he seems like a real dude, like not what somebody's interpretation of him should be or what have you. He seems like, hey, this is Anthony Mackie for real. Like he's got that leeway to play himself or be himself in the character. So I'm that part I'm looking forward to. The action, like I said, the trailer is nice. So hopefully they do it some real justice. I think this is gonna be like it's Disney, so it's gonna have a budget. It's not gonna look cheap and stupid. It's gonna be like a movie you're watching every week. So I'm really looking at
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
And the first episode was like 45 minutes, which is just long enough to forget that you're watching the TV show because there's no commercial breaks. And it's like, shoot, what's this credits coming in here for? Oh, right. You're a TV show. You're not a movie. And I never felt like I was watching a TV show. I mean, that was crazy because the effects, the fight scenes. I was like, man, these jokers are like giving me a movie on the small screen now. And I don't know if I care about their movies at this point because like Eternals, Black Widow, okay, that's nice, but more Falcon and Winter Soldier, please.
I think that's the point, right? Because then when they come out with the movie, you're like, bang! Oh my god!
I don't know. This slate of their movies is not exciting me, but I'm sure once. I mean, because I feel like I've seen 80 Black Widow trailers and none of the Eternals. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Can I get more Hawkeye and can show me a little bit of that Armor Wars or War Machine? I mean, those are the things on the Marvel calendar I'm actually looking forward to. Now I will be in the theater to watch the Fantastic Four movie, but that may be the first one until Thor that I'm excited about. We'll see.
What about Multiverse of Madness?
I think that comes out 2022. I mean, it's a minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
See.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a long time from now. That's a whole pandemic from now. I started watching because I was telling the fellas I have been so bored with these bad movies that I've watched so far in 2021, where everybody's like looking at their fingernails and gazing at the ceiling and just telling about how bad their life is. I'm like, I need some fun in my movie viewing. So I've been watching movies that are fun to me. So I'm looking forward to watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League. But I've been watching Fast and the Furious. And if you want a fun movie series, I don't think there's few that will top that in terms of just sheer, hey, where's your brain? I don't know. I left it at the door somewhere. But because I took it out, I can't tell you where it is. So I figured in the spirit of a little bit of March Madness, we would break down the best versions of a bunch of franchises. So we'll have a little bit of debate. We'll see how long this goes. But for now, let's start off with Fast and Furious. So we've had 8 installments. The 9th one is coming maybe this year, maybe. And I think there's 3 legitimate choices for the best in this franchise. But maybe you're an outlier and just want to be different and just say something crazy like Tokyo Drift. So let's start off with Gunner. What's the best installment of Fast and Furious?
That's hard, man. It's between 5 and 7. No, 5, 6, and 7, right? 5 through 7.
That's the 3 I'm thinking.
That's it right there. I mean, you gotta have to hand it to 4 to bringing it back. But I don't think 4 was as great a movie as the other 3 that I just mentioned, right?
So which one with the gun to your head are you choosing?
5. 5 brought it back for me. I was very skeptical about 4. And I was like, 5 made me want to watch 4. You get what I mean? And then... Yeah. And then 6, I think it was 6, made me want to watch 3. Right? Because of that end scene. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, shit, they incorporated it. All right, cool. But I gun to my head 5. Just because it made me want to rewatch the entire thing again.
Got you. Chief, how about you?
Ejectocito. Nah. You know, I gotta give the first one. I gotta put the first one in there. That started it off. The first one, if I'm correct, that's when he put the car in gear and did the wheelie. He had that black car. Yeah. And he downshifted and it wheelied.
I think so.
I think that was the first one.
Hold me to those stunts.
I think it was the first one. He was racing Paul, and I think he downshifted, and that thing lifted up and did a wheelie. The whole car lifted up. This is before, and it was kind of before everything got crazy, because you know you know what I mean. Like it was
like that was a crazy stunt.
Right. I'm not gonna say because when the car lifted up, you was like, oh, how? I mean, they jumped, they put their cars out of airplanes, they raced submarines, you know what I mean? Like, but that first one was normal one. Right. It was like they were doing just regular stuff in a sense, even though they did some stuff that was impossible, but now they're really superheroes. In these new ones. And so I don't remember the numbers because you're like 5, 6, 7. I'm like, what?
So, well, they're
country?
basically iterations of Fast and Furious. So Fast and Furious 5 is Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, and then Fast 7.
But where are they?
I forgot. It's
So
not
Fast
8
5
movies,
is
it's
Brazil.
9.
Okay, yeah, Brazil is the one. That's the one I'm talking about. That was the second one I was going to go with, Brazil. We're in
This is Brazil.
so that one there. See, yeah, cause see, I can't. You got to tell me where they are in it.
Yeah.
In the 6th one, they're all over. They're mostly in London.
Okay,
It's
with
in
Jason
London,
Statham.
baby.
That's when Jason Statham first appeared.
Yes, at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 is the one where they're all over, and Jason Statham is chasing them throughout the globe.
Right. That's when they introduced chick from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Ramses.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Where both him and Luda were Tyrese Luda on her.
Yeah, that was
the Rock. He baby's got to go to work and he rips the cast off.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So number one, Brazil for me, and I know this isn't part of the popular one.
You wanna go house and shop?
Because the Asian dude died in the Brazil one, right?
No, that was 6.
He
died in Tokyo.
That was 3 and
died in Tokyo. And we saw how he really got killed, sort of, in part 6.
Which one did Wonder Woman die?
6.
Okay,
6.
So, but I enjoyed Dubai. Which one was that?
That was 7.
That was 7.
So okay, I'm gonna go with 1,
know, dude.
5,
It's like
7.
they get really good at 5, 6, and 7. It's like,
Right.
You say 1, you can't be wrong.
That building scene where they were riding that car through that building in Dubai.
Yeah, dog.
Building the building.
That shit, cinematography right there was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 1, 5, and 7. And like I said, 1's kicking it off. 5 because Brazil was just a joint. I enjoyed that joint tremendously, and then 7 just the Dubai factor combined with Tyrese. He was funny in that joint too. He was like, "Let's get this party started. It's your birthday."
Yeah.
So yeah. And back when you thought Ronda Rousey was a tough girl. So
you're right.
Yeah. Don't hit her in the chin. Jay King, how about you? Jay King, you still there?
Oh man, I'm still here. I'm really thinking about it because three of the movies out of the series I really like, and I'm trying to. I gotta say at gunpoint, man, 5, 6, and I'm the wild. Look, I really like Too Fast, Too Furious because it was that early 2000s ridiculous.
Yeah.
About it. It was so dated and dumb and cheesy. Yes, and I love that about it. It's like watching Biker Boys now, yo.
Oh my God,
I love Biker Boys because it's so it is stuck where it is.
It's a product of its time.
Who's in Too Fast, Too Furious?
Dude,
that was Tyrese.
That was Tyrese's first,
that was in
and
Miami.
Luda.
That was when he got introduced. Yep, and Luda.
Taco meat. He said you got your taco meat hanging out.
Yeah, you got taco meat hanging out. Hey, that right there, man. I love it. Yeah, she was fine as hell in that movie too.
Yep.
Those are my 3, man. I just, for some reason, Too Fast, Too Furious just sticks out to me because it's stuck in that time. It does not age well. It is dated as shit. It is it is stamped, and I love that about that movie. I'm sorry.
I think what I like about Too Fast, Too Furious is the fact that it is so early 2000s, and John Singleton really was like, yo, I'm just going to have fun with this. And this is going to embody Miami. Everybody's going to be in bikinis, and the cars are going to be super neon. And
Jeff, right there, that part, you hit the nail on the head. You described it better than I could. It did not take itself seriously. And I love that about it, because what are we doing here? We're racing cars, man. Like Chief said, they turned into superheroes. They running from submarines and shit. I'm like, yeah, all right. What are we even doing anymore? Now they're international spies slash. They're like GI Joe with cars. Like,
You know what?
Yeah, man.
Until I get a good G.I. Joe movie, Fast and Furious is just gonna have to do.
it's gonna have to do. That's right. We're never gonna get a good GI Joe movie. Sorry.
It doesn't seem like it. Jace, what's yours?
So the funny thing is, I'm gonna make it easier on mine. I like them. Fast 6 is my number one because it is them versus their evil clones. And I mean, the fact that Tyrese Evil makes that joke is like, hey man, this is evil us. I mean, that pretty blonde, that's definitely Brian. I mean, just like now it was. I mean, that had the action. We saw Han and Giselle's death. I mean, what led to Han's death in the next movie. I mean, it was just like that one kind of set up everything. I mean, the next movie really well. And I mean, then you go to Jason Statham. That is not my actual number 2, but that was it sets the story up really well. My number 2, I mean, this might have been, because that is Jovon said, it's like Fast Furious 2 is just, I mean, it was like funny, like we literally watched that movie before we went to Miami, and we were like, this is why we're going to Miami. And it was crazy. We're going to Miami. It was like, we're watching that, we're watching Bad Boys, and it was like, yeah, this, you get all of Miami, and kind of it's ridiculous. I mean, in that time frame's ridiculousness of it, you saw like some of the building blocks of the series. It's like half the actors in the series start in that movie, and they have the same personality type, which is really cool. I'm trying to think, and probably my next one would be, I'm gonna go unpopular again. I like Tokyo Drift. I mean, it didn't have all but I mean, like the one thing is, I really do like the drifting scenes in that movie.
Tokyo Drift has style to it, which I think
Mm-hmm.
people don't like. It has an intentional tone of this is the
It was
style
his own
of
movie.
driving that we're introducing, and we're taking you Americans out of your comfort zone, bringing you to a new land. Lucas Black's character was kind of like whatever, but he was fine as the outsider. But the Han was such a cool addition to the ranks, and it was like, oh man, I want to know more about Han. That whole him and DK, like that stuff was cool. And even Bow Wow, the aspiring WWE rapper slash wrestler, is good for what he's doing in that. And
so crazy.
It really embodies the whole. Let's double up on what Tokyo or Too Fast Too Furious did, and show you what Tokyo's working with.
Yeah, let's say, Gunner, I know you're gonna come in and say we're idiots, and I'm okay with that. I'm used to that from you now.
He should
but
be.
there is.
You keep saying idiot shit like All-Star Superman and Fast and Furious 3. What the hell?
And let me say this. It's like you want to go like, could you? I mean, like all together. I mean, there's not a Fast and Furious movie you probably couldn't watch until after. I mean, that last one, Fast 8, 9, whatever the heck it was.
No, dude, they were fighting a sub.
Again,
the submarine joint was tight. And I'll give you Tokyo Drift, man. Han was a good character. They didn't spend enough time on him. That was my move. That was my problem with the movie.
Okay, but
Bow Wow, who gives a shit about Bow Wow? He was the worst part of that movie, and then the main character just wasn't strong enough.
Hey, but again,
they took you out of the
we got rid of those people who weren't the strongest ones, and then we got Han is the one who's with the crew. It worked out perfectly. And
that's why I like 5. I was like, oh, there you go. That's part of Fast and Furious. There he is. That's why I love 5.
Yeah, it's like I think it's you get to drive in, and like I said, Han is the coolest dude. It's like, if you guys want a cool character, it's like, I'm chewing bubblegum. I ain't got no time.
He's the coolest dude in the franchise. He's so cool, and they don't try to play. I love how diverse the whole franchise is, but they go against so many stereotypes that you would see if this was helmed by other people. Like if Michael Bay was doing it, he would try, and maybe he'd throw in some diversity, but it just wouldn't be the same. And
Also,
Josh Whedon would have all white guys
Oh
doing.
God.
but also
Yeah.
remember, Han was like in this scene where he's like, "Hey, we're gonna fight this dude." He's like, he gets his butt kicked, and he's like, it's not some fake kung fu like he knows he's been growing up on.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
man,
He's
I'm
not.
throwing hands. I ain't got time for all this.
It's like I'm not a fighter. I race cars, dude. I love that. And yeah, so my favorite is 6 because of the impossibly never-ending runway scene. How amazing it is! Like, the fights are just crazy. Like when they start taking those little small race car deals and they're just forklifting cars. That's great. Um, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano is like throwing it down with those fight
Mm-hmm.
scenes. Like they can go from physical fights to shootouts, and like everything works. Luke Evans is such a great villain in this series. I think he's my favorite because he's calculated and he's like, nah, Toretto, I got you. I know how to beat you. You got a family. Your code is your family. It's a weakness, and he plays up on it. And then we get the tag team fight at the end with Dom and Hobbs going against the big tank German dude and Owen Shaw. It's like I get hyped watching that movie every time. Like it's the first time I've watched it. So that was fun. Let's see. Let's go with Mission Impossible next. Tom Cruise. He's working on 2 more because he doesn't age fast enough to stop the franchise. I will say that these movies have continued to do pretty decent. They've been pretty good.
Yeah.
And even though I'm like, hey, dude, you're too old, I'm still watching, still enjoying them. So
I'm
going to put it up
shocked
to
that
you.
this thing is still doing that well, man.
Yeah, I mean, it
They're
really
good
should
action
not be.
movies. They're
Yeah.
really good action movies, though. That's why.
Yeah, dude, it's like just gonna fill the gap until somebody comes along and take the crown. All right, so what is the best Mission Impossible? Chief, why don't you start off?
I'm gonna say the one with and although the last one in my memory I could watch with Henry Cavill, I was that
Mm-hmm.
was an excellent movie. Don't get me wrong, the twist or whatever. It's got to be the one with Shorty's father, uh,
John
Jodie's
Boy?
father, John Voight. Um,
The
and
first one?
Yeah, the
yo,
first
that
one.
the first one to me was because at the end when they kind of showing how he faked his own death and yada
Yeah.
yada and so on and so forth. I like that first one. And again, like I said, the first one start out normal in a sense, and then
Right.
the franchise blows up, and then the next thing you know,
And
he's
John Woo gets a hold of it. It's
right.
off to the races
You know
after
what I
that.
mean? He's got some reins and he's riding an airplane horsey style, and you're like, what? So, yeah. So, so these like the first couple of movies is always kind of normal for these long franchises, and then I think that after a while to keep you in them, they're just like, you know what, we're gonna spend 130 million in stunts, and then the whole movie is just action stunts, and then you're just like, oh wow, and then by the time you leave the movie theater, you're like, oh, you know, what was the plot? I have no idea, but the action was you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. That first one, when it was just starting out, was to me the best one. You got a sense of who he was. They did build up a character, yada yada, so on and so forth. The stunts wasn't over the top. They were great, they were good, but they weren't like, and you could kind of concentrate on what the movie, what all was going on in the movies, a little, and then, like I say, from that popularity from that one, it got crazy. Even though they were all good, I think the introduction of the first one was the best one.
That's a very fair point, Chief. Because Jean Reno was great. An old girl. We want the money, Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And there was a little mystery to it, which they lost pretty quickly after that. Right after the second one, because John Woo was like, "Yo, we don't need to do that." John Woo. Jace, how about you?
Oh, okay. My favorite one is actually Mission Impossible 3. That's the one where they have. Let me ask if I'm mistaken. It's like that's when he's training Kerry Russell, and he was retired. He thinks he's out of the game for real.
Yeah.
So it's Seymour Hoffman's bad guy.
Yeah. It's like, Ethan, I'm giving you count of 5. I'm gonna put a bullet in her head. It's like then you start, and then he does it. It's like, oh well, okay, that's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, we're off to the races. And that one also had Ethan around a good team of guys who were. I thought they were actually going to, if they were going to keep a Mission Impossible franchise, you would see all of those guys kind of move at least for the next 2 movies with them. It was a diverse cast, and you're like, oh, okay, we got these guys. Lawrence Fishburne is in charge of IMF. Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got a good thing going. And again, in like the Kuala Lumpur scene, that was just really cool. It's like again, I love Fallout, but I think if we're going best of the 6, I gotta take that as my number 1.
Okay, Gunner.
I'm shocked that I agree with Jason's assessment.
Idiots.
Oh, wait,
3.
repeat that, please. What?
I agree. I think, okay, I love the John Woo version because it's just ridiculous John Woo stuff. Doves for no goddamn reason.
It really
Doves
is.
all over the damn place. But John Woo is definitely
why
a
are
gun
they
expert.
in this tunnel?
Right. Like, what the hell? John Woo is definitely a gun expert, so you're going to see different types of guns and things. It's great. Tom Cruise doing his own stunts as usual was great. It was just pointless stunts. Like, why am I spinning the motorcycle all the way around in a circle to fire at you?
Because it
Like,
looks cool.
Because it looks so cool and super early 2000s BS. So, or was that in late 90s? I don't remember anymore. But 3, don't get me wrong, I love 2. If I would say number 2 is my second favorite, right? But 3 brought it back to normal after that. And I was like, oh, a real thing. Oh, shit. And I'm a big fan of Philip Seymour Hoffman, God rest his soul. So, you know what I mean? Like, man, him being a villain, he's like, I'm going to count to 5. Exactly. Like, yeah, I'm going to count to 5. I was like, oh, he actually did that.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to. And this was so long ago. Jason, did we see it together? In the theater?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It was that long ago.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't know.
We might have actually seen it together in the theater. That's how long ago it was. Like, my God. Anyway, so I'm agreeing. Like 3 brought it back from the John Woo and put it on a better track. You know what I mean? For it to be a longer franchise. I think if it stuck with the ridiculousness, it wouldn't have lasted as long as Fast and Furious.
That's true. J. King.
God, I gotta say Fallout. What was the one he was hanging off the side of the damn plane?
Fallout was one of them.
That was Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol.
You're right.
No, that was Ghost Protocol for real.
Or was that Rogue Nation?
I don't know.
No, I feel like that was Ghost Protocol when he was hanging on the plane.
No, that was Rogue Nation. Ghost Protocol to me seems like, it's funny. I was watching. I was binge watching Archer over the. Yeah, I was binge watching Archer over the holidays up until January, right? And I forget which season it is. It's like season 5 or 6. Season 5 or 6 of Archer is basically Ghost Protocol. Because they get implicated and they have to shut down the agency. Yeah, it's pretty much it's Archer Vice. There it is.
Remember that? Yeah.
But that's the thing about it. It's the one of those 3 movies that I remember most because the other 2 was just action. I don't know the plot of either of the other 2 movies. I just know that I love the action sequences. I watched them and I instantly forgot them after that. It was like, what was the name of that movie, man? I'm trying to think. It was a movie I saw a couple years ago with the guy that played the new RoboCop and Liam Neeson. And
oh gosh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't remember a damn
Was it a
thing
Walk
about
Among
that
the
movie.
Tombstones?
Jeff, I don't even think it was that complicated. It was just gunfight, blow up. I think that was the title, like gunfight and explosion.
Right, because he was protecting his son.
Yeah, it was his son. But it was so okay. They gave you that 5 minute setup, and then the rest was just Liam Neeson shooting the shit out of New York City. That was the rest of the movie. You didn't give a damn about anything else. I don't even know if he saved his son or not. I don't remember what happened. I do remember there was a lot of guns.
Taken again.
He pretty much taken with his idiot adult son. That's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the three that stood out the most to me because of the action. I saw the other three. I agree with Chief too because Mission Impossible 1 was a real movie. 2 was look. It was 2000. It was everybody had that kind of, and when it came to the action genre, everybody had that post Matrix hangover. So you had slow motion effects for the sake of slow motion effects.
You know what was the worst was when Charlie's Angels did it. That was the part I was like, but y'all need to stop this right now.
Oh,
like this movie does not need the Matrix.
Yeah. No, that movie's everybody's jumping the shark moment. That was like, okay, done it. It's over.
That's in bullet time, man. That's
really
it.
Didn't John Woo consult on that one?
No, that was McGee or something. That was McGee, wasn't it? That guy.
Oh God. I don't know. They had the same effect. Everybody was just like, let's just John Woo everything. Let's use his style. Good God,
it was
no
that
reason.
popular style between the Wachowskis and John Woo. It's like everybody had to throw that elements of their filmmaking, their action sequences in their movies, and it just didn't go. It just doesn't go with everything, you know.
Nah, like it worked for the Matrix. Stop.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Let's end it there.
Yeah. All right. Well, mine is just to be different. Fallout, because the scene where Henry Cavill's loading up the machine cannon arms is like it's great, and I like where you have a villain working among the crew because that's a callback to the first one, and I thought the elements with the cast were good. I just like the way it played out. Like, wasn't sure if old girl from earlier was working with them, and there was like this. Well, maybe she's not. Really like that one. Before, my favorite was 3, and I would die on that hill for a long time. I just like the action scenes and Fallout just a little bit more. But in terms of acting with a bad guy, Philip Seymour Hoffman still is my favorite villain in the series. Well, that was way longer than I thought. I like this discussion, so we're going to do 2 more next week. But for now, fellas, it's that magical time. Who, if you possibly have any nominees this week, or nominees for Dummies of the Week? Jace, why don't you start?
Dummies of the Week. Oh man, you know we haven't talked about our favorite show besides The Bachelor, Married at First Sight. What? Since we can't, and let's be honest, you guys are addicted to it, and we are too. And it's because of our favorite couple, Chris and Paige. So once again, after, hey, I got a baby mama on the way, and I'm bringing baby mama to have a date with you, but you didn't pop off like I wanted to, so I'm mad about that. So I'm gonna have a one-on-one conversation with you, just to see if I can really make sure I can get this franchise spinoff going. I'm gonna have a conversation with you, and just to see if I can make that the producers come back to me one more time. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try and make this. I'm gonna see if I can make relationship work because I may be falling in love with you. Tune in next week to see. And you know what, Paige, as my dummy of the week. You know, because everybody else, after somebody says, hey, I met you a week ago, I got a baby mama on the way. She used to be my ex-fiance like 2 months ago. Paige is, no, I'm going to see where this takes us. And you know what? He said he might actually think he has a future with me. So I'm going to give him another chance. I'm going to let this reset happen. I'm sorry, is most of the females that maybe she didn't have good girlfriends that can't tell her, are you a fool? It's time to walk away. Maybe that's the case, but if she is not listening to him, or she's not trying to scam for her own franchise after this, Paige is my dummy of the week.
Now for a very long time. Gunnar, how about you?
No, I actually don't really have one.
All right. Chief, you got one?
Senator Rob Johnson. How about that? I don't know. He's an idiot. I'll just throw somebody out there.
Yeah, so I've seen like a couple of videos this week of people who are trying to get away from the cop by shooting at him. Stop shooting at the cops. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work out well. I mean,
doesn't seem like a successful strategy.
Yeah, so now you've got fleeing and evading, and you're going to turn that up to attempted murder or perhaps the death of yourself. So, if you have a gun in the car, go ahead and take the gun charge. Get a lawyer. And you know, hopefully you have no priors. You can probably get out of it. You know what I mean? The gun charge isn't really that. You know, it's not really going to necessarily send you to jail unless, of course, you have a body on it. But
unless you have a John Woo special effect and doves flying around.
Yeah. So I've seen several people.
Otherwise, it's poetic.
Yeah, try to take a shot at a cop this week because they had a gun on them or a gun in the car, and they were pretty much killed. And you know, and although I want to say this in a nice way, I don't feel bad for you in a sense. Like, I think you kind of had that coming by trying to kill someone else. Even though I don't want to see it, like I wish you would have made a different judgment call. I don't see. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. One of the dumbest things in the world. Besides, you know, eating cinnamon and Tide Pods and things of that nature. But
Gorilla Glue in your hair.
Yeah, and put glue and Gorilla Glue in your hair. I think shooting at a cop is
Who would be stupid enough to do that?
Yeah. I think shooting at a cop is up there on that scale, man. Go ahead, you know, take the charge, fight in the court, man. Stop shooting to get away. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So that's my dummy of the week. Anybody who's going to shoot at a cop to try to get away in order to catch later on that murder charge, that doesn't make any sense. So you got a way to go to jail.
All right. My choice is all of the pearl clutchers who called the FCC this week after Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion performed the WAP because they were like, "This is obscene. Let's get this off my TV. I don't want anything about this."
Okay.
Is this the 80s? What the hell?
How many times during the Grammy performance do they say, "Hey, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are performing WAP," and you can't say in 2020 that you don't know or heard that song, and you looked at the video and be like, "You know what? I think I really should watch that video and see what they're going to perform live." You had ample warning. If you haven't put your kids to bed at 10 o'clock, you deserve everything you're about to see. Like, no sympathy at all. Gosh.
You deserve to see them two scissoring on stage.
Exactly.
In the background playing, there's some holes.
Your kids are up doing that. You cannot complain, man.
Hey, by the way, your children have 24/7, 365 access to electric sex.
Yep.
They have 24/7, 365 access to electric sex. They have phones, they have tablets, they have laptops. Oh, girl's probably right now watching somebody do something inappropriate. This is the world that we live in. Take it away from you. Have a choice. Take it away from them or proceed.
And if you're mad,
call the Grammy.
And if you're mad, it's because you got that DAP, not that WAP.
The milk's gone bad.
Woo.
2 thumbs down. Jovon, why don't you
this goes out to another group. I know, what was that, last Sunday, not this past Sunday, Sunday before, you know, Oprah Gabriel had that interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And there's been like a week and a half long fallout that continues, you know, followed by Sharon Osbourne, Piers Morgan, their fallout with their whole thing, right?
Yeah.
My dummies are the people who were kind of surprised that the British royal family could be racist towards or have racially insensitive attitudes towards Meghan Markle.
No.
It's the British royal family. It's the British royal family. Did you think it was going to be like a Tyler Perry movie where there was some hesitance at first, and then before you know it, they playing it's getting hot in here at a cookout at Windsor Palace, and the Queen is busting it low? What did you think? What did you think was going to happen?
You watch Baps, and they figured like that.
Watermelon everywhere.
She was cornrolling the Queen's hair, and her and Kate Middleton was going to go out shopping for Gucci bag. What did you expect? What did you expect? Come on, man.
But can we be real here for a second? Megan's not that type of black person. I'm gonna say it just like that. Struggling with the ambiguity and all that bullshit, right? Like, I know people do. That's fine. But at the same time, this is what you get when you choose ambiguity. Sorry. You thought it was going to be all cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, it's not.
If you didn't think that was going to happen to you, and I read that somewhere too. I'm like, somebody finally articulated it in a way I couldn't. Mm-hmm. You've kind of lived in this ambiguous world where your skin tone currently helps you be more acceptable. There's a privilege with that. I know that's just how life is. So you go over there and they're like, oh no, you're still black. You don't know how to deal with that because you never had to deal with that over here.
You never had to deal with that. So she finally had her wake up moment, right?
Thank you.
She couldn't handle it. And I was thinking, like, what the hell did you expect? What did you
include
expect?
her into those dummies?
Oh, she's included. I was just trying
to.
Hey, Gunner, I included her as well, but I'm trying to be, tiptoe the line there. Because somebody's going to defend, but I don't, you know what? Hey, the hat's off now. The gloves are off now, yeah. What did you expect? What did you expect?
Right.
This was not going to go as you planned.
I don't understand it, but everybody gotta have their wake up call. They cool.
Everybody.
The dude seemed cool. You know what I mean? I ain't messing with you. He's like, look, I'm following you. So that's commendable, I guess. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna hate on the whole situation, but I nip things in the bud. That's all I gotta say about that.
Right.
I understand how life works. So.
Hey, living without blinders on,
Right.
You don't want the black princess?
Not at all. Not at all.
No blinders. All right, let's go no blinders. And because we're heading over on our time here, and Jace has a show to watch. But save that thought for later, for next week's show, where we break down 2 more of the best of the franchises and the Snyder Cut of Justice League, because we've all got 4 hours. I know Jovon does. And yeah, let's try to watch that Walking Dead too, because I think it'll be interesting. Fellas, thank y'all as always for rolling with me. Thank y'all out there for listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.